How are we doing today? Sorry, a little bit late on the recording of this one. Finished up, those three presentations yesterday by presenting in Berkeley, California. It's about an hour or so away from me with no traffic. It was about 3 hours away from me with traffic. So um, that was fun, and I will be releasing my draft run of that here in about 2 hours or so, as I still need to upload that. But it'll be fun. I think it was a good presentation. I think you'll enjoy it. If you've watched a lot of my videos, you'll see a couple of themes. Hola, buenos dias. You'll see a couple of things that are similar, but I still think there's a lot of good material in there. I try to do something unique for every presentation. Investing for 20 years, it's pretty easy to come up with some new stuff. So look for that later in the day. It's going to probably be a long recording. I went for 2 to 2.5 hours at the event, but that's because I interacted with the audience. We took questions throughout, so it was a good day. So we'll see. It'll probably be about an hour with no questions. So we will see what's going on. First and foremost, as I talked about yesterday, I do expect the stock market to be negative today. It wouldn't shock me if it's down more than 250 points. I did see this morning it opened down, I think 300, but it's going to be a down day. I think like 3 or 4 weeks ago when we were talking, I think I said 2 weeks in a row that I expected Fridays to be down days because nobody wanted to be exposed to the weekend. I think we're back to that strategy for at least this weekend. There seems to be lots of additional countries that are suddenly finding more and more cases, and the world is kind of waiting to see if this goes from a localized China problem to a world problem, and it's that secondary infection or whatever you call it that makes this a pandemic. So Iran suddenly reported a bunch of cases. South Korea's up, Japan's up. So it's getting interesting. So that's probably why nobody wants to be long the weekend. Next up, you're starting to see companies change their behavior. And again, this is why I watch what's going on, see what's going on with the consumers. And you see Facebook pull out of a major conference, doesn't want to send their employees there. There was a World Mobilecom or something that was happening that usually 100,000 people come to, that was canceled as well. So again, these just show you where fear is, safety, concern, all of that. But there's that ripple effect, right? There's all those hotel rooms that aren't booked. There's all those conference fees. There's all extra, extra, extra. So this is how it's going to impact the economy going forward. And if this secondary infection rate really does happen, which I hope it doesn't, we're going to see more and more companies, more and more gatherings, more and more things not happen, which will it has to impact the economy. I mean, and the economy is all built on, future expectations. And if you have the economy that's kind of grinding, it's going to hurt. I mean, look at Coca-Cola today, right? Of all companies, Coca-Cola says it's going to take a 2-cent share hit from the virus. I was surprised by that, but again, people aren't going out, they aren't socializing, they aren't ordering Cokes for at lunch or dinner or whatever whenever you do that. And I mean, if it's going to impact a company like Coca-Cola, what's going to happen to hotels and airplanes and just airlines? It's just something we have to watch out for. The other one that really is, I'm going to say concerning, not yet scary, but concerning as of today. I don't know if you track this, but because I track cost of capital, did you see that the 30-year bond went to 1.89%? That's a very low interest rate. And it certainly could just be a momentary leap to safety. I certainly hope that's all it is. Again, people need to put their money somewhere, these big hedge funds and all of that. So if they pull it out of the stock market falls, where they put it, maybe they throw it in 30-year bonds. That seems like an awfully long time, right? Generally, 30-year bonds are it's never been this low before, so it's concerning. And again, I track cost of capital because that's the biggest cost in my property. So that one, when I saw that this morning, I went, something's different. People are more than nervous now. They might be going from nervous to scared, right? So that one was, you got to pay attention to that one. 30-year bond, 1.89. I'm going to read some stuff over the weekend, I'm sure, about that, because that's pretty scary. Next up, big one for today was U.S. home sales. Again, I love how people write articles and they can take any number and make it good or bad. So here they go. The U.S. home sales fell 1.3%. What they're not telling you in that statement is listings were down 10.7%. So the available homes from last year were down 10.7%. So if there was 100,000 homes available last year, there were only 90,000 homes, or actually, what would that be? 89,300 homes available this year. So it's kind of apples and oranges. And really what we're tracking is the median home price, and that was up 6.8% to 266,300. Again, I'm still calling a double-digit increase this year, outside of the Bay Area, outside of Manhattan, outside of Orange County, right? These big metro areas that are already affordable. If you've read our book, the affordability index is real. It tells you something. The Bay Area is not affordable. Bay Area needs to fall. People are leaving the Bay Area. I mean, who wants to pay $2 million for a 70-year-old house that needs work? It's just crazy here. But that doesn't mean that's true everywhere. Most of the country is going to increase, and I think this, what was it, 6.8? It's going to rise to double digits. It's like economics 101, right? Supply, demand, what's going on? So that's what is going to happen. And then next up, it looks like John Deere. Right? I've talked about Caterpillar a couple of times. John Deere, obviously, they're more farming versus construction and all of that. But it was nice to see that they beat on top and bottom line. Really goes to, in my opinion, to show that the kind of farming challenges that our farmers had in the U.S. when the trade war was going on, which was pretty severe for them, could finally be relenting. And, they beat on top and bottom line. They were expected 6.4 million. They did just over 6.5 and billion, I believe. Sorry, billion. Actually, I don't know if that. Yeah, it had to be billion. And then earnings were expected at 1.25 or $1.25, and they did 163. So a clear beat on the bottom line. The top line was I'll call it a slight beat. So in the end, today's probably going to be pretty rocky. It could be one of those days where we have acceleration of losses into the close. That wouldn't surprise me. One of the listeners of this channel actually reminded me that it's options expiration date. I don't track that anymore, but that's also going to add some ups and downs and additional demand or trades. It'll add additional trades to the market, so it could skew things. But again, the one that really got me, there's kind of two things that got me today. One is the 30-year bond under 1.9, right? 1.89 was the last print that I saw. That's interesting. That's got to reverse next week, right? It doesn't bother me so much that it's doing it today, because again, I think today is going to be a get flat, wait for the weekend, see if anything gets crazy. But if it stays below 1.9, call it for the next 2 weeks, there's something going on there. And then the other one is just Facebook, right? Facebook pulling out of another conference, right? Not sending their executives, their employees there. Just goes to show you how behavior changes via fear and concern, and then your job is to figure out how that changes will ripple through the economy. And I don't think there's any question that this thing is not over yet. So in the end, I hope you enjoyed this. We will, of course, talk tomorrow. I will be recording and releasing that presentation from San Jose, San Francisco, in Berkeley here in the next couple hours. which I hope you enjoy. A warning, it'll be probably an hour, so get ready. In the end, have a wonderful day, and we will talk tomorrow.